Not being Jamaican has really hurt my feelings because I was told my skin tone makes me not Jamaican.
Every time James and I make TikToks, we just get like a bunch of people telling us that we're not Jamaican, which is fine, like you can have your own opinion. The only problem I have is where else do I claim? I was born here, so I don't have a British passport. How does it feel like you're not Jamaican?
Was you born and raised in Jamaica? 15 Ras years, me I telling you say I was. Every week in Ras clot moment, me wake up and tell you say me there from Jamaica. I make one blood clot April Fool's joke say I'm not from Jamaica. And then you come back with this blood clot shit.
Right now, people, me tell you, me upset, you know. Me upset again. I'm not care what nobody wants to say. I'm in a business, people are going to say, oh, it's not that deep and rare. It is that deep. Look, swash, swoosh, swat, I don't even know, swats. I can't pronounce them name. Look, Jamaican jerk season. Taste of the Caribbean. Which part? This is not Jamaican jerk season. Stop it, yeah? This must be the one where turkey beer used. And this one turkey beer used. Because this is not the proper thing. This is not the real... Sure. No, people, it upset me because there's proper good Caribbean and Jamaican brands out there. And yet people are going to use them, the idiot brand, as references. People who don't know about the Caribbean, run go buy them the brand because them the brand in all of the big store there and be like, oh, look at this, Jamaican jerk season. And go use it and feel like I saw we jerk this taste. I saw jerk season taste. No, we don't want to not represent we, yeah? Don't do.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. Imagine being born in Jamaica, growing up in Jamaica, speaking with the Jamaican accent, understanding the culture, knowing the food, the music, the humor, the history, and then somebody look at you and say, you are not Jamaican because you are white. For many white Jamaicans, that statement is not just annoying, it's deeply personal. And that is exactly why this conversation has become so heated, and we want to discuss about it because there is an important distinction that people keep missing. Jamaica is a nationality. It is not a race. Yes, Jamaica is predominantly black country. There's absolutely no reason to deny that. The overwhelming majority of Jamaicans are of African descent, largely because of Jamaican history, including the transatlantic slave trade and the development of society in which African descendants became the majority. But being predominantly black does not mean being exclusively black. Jamaica has also been shaped by people of European, Chinese, Indian, Lebanese, Syria, Palestinians, and other backgrounds. Some families have lived on the island for generations. So when somebody say they are white people in Jamaica, but they are just foreigners, that statement creates a problem. Because what happened when the person was born in Jamaica? What happens when the parents were Jamaican? What happens when the grandparents were Jamaicans? What happens when the entire culture identity was formed in Jamaica? At what point we stop maybe judging nationality by someone's skin color? And this is why today debates get fascinating, because the question isn't really, are most Jamaican black? They are. The real question is, does being Jamaican require to be black? And historically, culturally, and nationally, the answer is no. So today we are going far beyond this topic, and because Jamaica isn't simply one color. Jamaica is a nation, Jamaica is a culture, Jamaican identity is bigger than skin tone. So guys, let's continue watching this clip till the end. Please subscribe if you haven't, like, share. I'll be back with more.
She's black in America and she's white in Jamaica. But how? So this is Dominique Gabru from California, and when she lived in Jamaica, working with the Peace Corps, the Jamaicans racially categorized her as white, and she thought that was strange because she always identified as black. Dominique said that she never noticed how fluid her identity could be until she moved to Jamaica. She said that Jamaicans almost always assumed that she was white, and on one occasion she yelled back in frustration that she was not white. And this is all because of Jamaica's history. Again, Jamaica goes by hyperdescent, meaning that blacks are at the bottom, mixed race people in the middle, and white people at the top. Some mixed race people moving to America were shocked to be categorized as black. Like most places in the world, Jamaica has a long history of legally categorizing mixed race people as white, as what happened with Thomas Winter's children. You only had to be 3 generations removed from the African ancestor to be legally classified as white. Given that race is a social construct and differs from place to place, it is very likely that some of Kamala Harris's ancestors in Jamaica who had African ancestry were not identified as black. So I'm surprised to see some black Americans so upset that other black people are questioning whether Kamala Harris's Jamaican ancestry was always identified as black. Looking at Kamala Harris's cousin, he looks like he can be a part of Cardi B family. Y'all say Cardi B is not black all the time without batting an eye. So while it may be rude to question Kamala Harris's blackness because she grew up in America and she fits the American social construct for what is black, it is not racist to question whether or not her Jamaican line identified or was black.
We need to address the misconception that every Jamaican is black. This is not the case.
I first want to encourage you to finish watching the rest of that video. Not only will you take a lot away from it, but my video will make more sense. Also, follow my friend. He is so full of knowledge and is such a valuable asset to this app. But this video in particular really hits home for me because, well, I'm Jamaican and I look the way I look. Now, there's no surprise to me, and it's certainly not a surprise to my fellow Jamaicans, but to some Canadians and some North Americans, this may be the first time they've ever seen a Jamaican that looks like me, and that's okay. I'm simply here to bring awareness, to say, hey, a Jamaican can look like me, and also to remind you that being Jamaican is not a color. I'm gonna say that one more time. Being Jamaican is not a color, it's a culture. It's a beautiful, rich culture, and it's a nationality. It's my nationality, and one that I'm very proud of.
People keep telling me that I don't look like a Jamaican, and yesterday here in Turkey, a taxi driver said to me that there was no such thing as a white Jamaican, and that actually the people who are white in Jamaica are only expats, as if I don't know the difference between being an expat and actually being from a country. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you guys that Jamaicans aren't just black. We come in all different colours, babes. This is Adam Stewart. He is 5th or 6th generation Jamaican. He is now the CEO of Sandals. You may know the resorts. And the point is, if you asked him, he's definitely Jamaican. And you can see, very white. You might have seen this guy. He's actually quite funny. He goes by the name of White Yardie. Yardie, for those of you that don't know, someone from Jamaica. He's also from Jamaica. Also very white. This man is called Edward Seaga. He was actually one of our prime ministers. Again, very white. But we also have Chinese looking Jamaicans too, because back in the day, they brought over Chinese people as indentured workers. And this man is called Mr. Chin. Fun fact, you can call any Jamaican person who looks Chinese Mr. Chin, or for a woman, Miss Chin, and they will answer you, and it's not considered racist. This man is called Harry Mirage, rest in peace, a friend of my dad's. As you can see, very Indian, not looking like a black man. This guy, Joe Issa, his family originally is actually Palestinian, but he is also Jamaican. So the next time you see a Jamaican and you think that they don't look Jamaican, remember that we don't really have a look. Our motto is out of many, one people, and it's something we're very proud of. Not to say that we don't have issues, you know, but the fact is, Jamaicans do not come in one.
Not even in my next life. Could never, would never, will never. You don't have to worry about that, babes. Me just tuck it in sometimes, you see me? Cause it don't really matter what bad mind people want to say, you know. They can't really stop it. Remember what Cartel say, you know, bad man and the worst is deceased. Olive, Jesus Christ, come down right now. We'll keep it.
Alright, I just gotta clear the air because everyone is jumping to Kamala's defense saying that she's quote unquote black because her daddy is Jamaican. People, please understand that Jamaicans are not black, okay? We Caribbean people from the Caribbean, West Indies, we do not see color like y'all see color. The Caribbeans are mixed just like America. We have all different kinds of ethnic groups, different kind of cultures, different races of people on the islands, okay? Not just one, all the islands. That when we see each other in the United States and we meet up with each other, there's an automatic bond. It's like, oh, but were you for? Oh yeah, oh, what man? We family. Recognize ourselves as family because we don't see color or race. We see what island we are from. If you're from Jamaica, we see you as Jamaican. If you're from Barbados, we see you as Bajan. If you're from Trinidad, we see you as a Trini. If you're from St. Lucia, we see you as a St. Lucian. Okay, we don't see you as a black St. Lucian, a Hispanic St. Lucian, a Dominican St. Lucian, or we don't see him as a black Jamaican, a white Jamaican, a Dominican Jamaican. We don't see him as a Puerto Rican Jamaican, Chinese Jamaican, any of that. You're just a Jamaican, okay? And if you're from Barbados, you're just a Bajan. If you're from Trinidad, you're just a Trini. Point blank, you're not a white, black, this, that, or whatever. Matter of fact, when we first came to America, I didn't know anything about black people. I didn't even know black people was a thing. I didn't know I was considered a black person, because that's something that we never used back on the island, especially when I was a kid. Maybe they do now, whatever. But when we was growing up, that was not a thing. I didn't know that I was, quote unquote, considered a black man until I came to America. I didn't know anything about racism until I came to America, because those things does not matter in the islands. If you're born on one island, that's who you are, no matter where your parents come from. And it doesn't matter, because when we link up, we be like, hey, what's up, fam? We family, and that's all that matters. We have a saying, different islands, same people. And it's facts. Because no matter what island you go to, you're going to find a broad variety of cultural people. And you know how we know where they're from? When they open their mouth and they speak. You a Trini. Oh, you from Barbados. Or you a Crucian. Oh, you a St. Lucian. That's how we know each other. We don't know, it doesn't matter what island we are from. We consider ourselves as family. As far as the Kamala being black thing, let's just get to the bottom of it. Okay, before you didn't have any problem with saying that as long as you got one drop of black blood in you, that you're black. You didn't have any problem with that. You didn't have any problem with if they're not white, they're black. You even included Chinese people and Asian people and all of that that are literally look just like white people, but except for the eyes and all of that different stuff, but their skin tone is literally just about the same. You don't have any problem with including them and everybody else in your so-called black race agenda. When the black thing became a little bit too direct, then you started saying, oh well, let's just embrace the color. We're colored then, because we're so many different varieties of people. So then you became colored people. And at the same time, now that this woman is up for presidency or up for this seat, that seat, or whatever, now we have to differentiate what kind of colored person she is. What kind of black, how much black does she have in her blood? And all of that crazy nonsense. She's not the one with the problem, y'all are. Even if she said she was Indian or black. That's what y'all say. Y'all ain't never had a problem with that shit before. But because now, something is at stake, now all of a sudden, we got to break down the values within how much blackness there is there. Just crazy.
All right, mommy, some people are confused when you said you're Jamaican but full Chinese. Can you clarify for them?
All right, don't be confused. All right, I'm Jamaican, full stop. But my parents were born in China, so I am Chinese and full Chinese, no mix.
The thing about Jamaicans, in the Jamaican society, we have many different races coexisting in harmony. Whites, Chinese, Indian, and of course blacks. But there's something special about this that I never knew until I left Jamaica. That is, we never refer to each other as black Jamaicans or white Jamaicans. No, we just call each other Jamaicans. And I think that's special. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. I just want to come on here and set the record straight for all of my non-black Jamaicans. Because I just feel bad. I see so much rhetoric on here. I'm on here every day. And there are non-black Jamaicans, and they're constantly like, oh, being attacked. You guys, you can't possibly be Jamaican. What's going on? So I'm here to speak to it. I lived in Jamaica for a bit. My parents moved us there for high school to have better education. So we moved to Jamaica. And Honestly, so my first year I did public school, and in that year it was like straight up like just all like black kids, like everyone looked like me. And then my last 3 years of school, so I did 9, 10, and 11. Sorry, they finished in 11. I did 9, 10, and 11 at a private school, and there I was a minority. There's tons of international students, lots of expats. Like Jamaica is very, very multicultural. Like I was actually shocked myself when I went there, and I was like, so much Chinese Jamaican, Indian Jamaican, white Jamaican, like German Jamaican's a big one. Like there's just a lot of different, like Jamaicans, we are every color, we are everything. Very mix up. So yes, if you know you're not gonna believe it from these white TikTokers, at least believe it from somebody black who's lived in Jamaica. If you're hearing somebody and the accent sounds like legit, they're Jamaican. You can't take that away from them. And honestly, Jamaican's a culture, like it's a nationality. It's not really like a race, it's a nationality. And I think that's the thing, like people mix up like race and nationality. I'm born in Canada. Does that make me indigenous? No. So, you know, like we can't mix up places and things like that. But I just want to come on here and set the record straight. There are actually a lot more non-black Jamaicans than you would think, like a ton. So that's my 2 pieces on it.
So it's funny to me how Jamaicans deal with race. It's very different than America, and I think it's a lot better. They just kind of call it the way they see it. So like, if you got a white guy, they call him Whitey. If you got an Indian guy, they call him Coolie. If you're a Chinese guy, Mr. Chin, really dark-skinned brother, Blacker, you know? So, funny story, I was producing some music down in Jamaica for some friends of mine. They asked me to help them out. And so there was one guy I was calling to arrange some studio time with him. And ironically, his name was Black Man. And so I call him and say, yo, what I deal with? Fire up on the wire. He's like, fire? I'm like, yo, it's Mikey. He's like, Mikey. I said, yo, it's Whitey Mikey. He said, oh, Whitey Mikey, don't know. Yo, in America, you could never get by with that stuff.
And just so we are clear, we know that being Jamaican is not a race, right? It's not a race. So you have black Jamaicans, and you have white Jamaicans, and you have Chinese Jamaicans, and you have Indian Jamaicans, right? We know that, right? Right?
This logic does not make sense, because if this were the case, then there would be no Jamaicans. Unfortunately, most of the indigenous population was killed off through genocide when the colonizers came to Jamaica. There are a few, I believe, I've heard recently that there are a few indigenous people left in Jamaica, but a majority of the population in Jamaica is not indigenous. Well, I think someone qualifies as Jamaican as if they were born in Jamaica, or if their parents have Jamaican heritage, if they grew up with Jamaican culture. So even if they're born in the US but their parents have Jamaican heritage and they grew up with their parents teaching them about Jamaican culture, I think that's fair. I was born and raised in Jamaica my entire life. I've only been in the US since I started college. So anyways, bless up, have a good day, hope you are doing well.
Yo, let me tell you something. You said the worst thing you can do to me, is look me in my face and tell me, say, I lie me, I tell what I say, I come from Jamaica. Here? Just because I not have blood clot, dreadlocks, I'm not black, I'm not talk patois every day, I'm not go on like say Ray and over. Yo, if I want to chat like a blood clot Yankee every day and talk like say America, guess what? No, America, I raised. I left Jamaica when I about what? 9 years old? 8 years old? 8, 9 years old? What you want from me? You want me to look like a blood clot plate of oxtail? Yo, you see what me did there in New Jersey? And everybody used to tell me, say, yo, you're not a Jamaican. You're not Jamaican. I just want to punch them in that blood clot face. Me say the next person will tell me, say, I lie me I tell when me say a Jamaica I come from. I swear I got blood clot punch them in my fucking face here. Because I hate that shit, yo. Why the fuck would I lie? But what the fuck I gonna come out of that? And a Kingston blood clot Cockburn pen my barn, brethren. A real bad girl Indian this year. Nobody make it come out upon you. Don't be the person who make it come out upon you. Yeah? Because me make you know, say, not only is a Jamaica I come from, me's a real bad blood clot girl, yeah?
Hi guys, welcome back once again. Let's start with something that should be obvious but somehow continue to create arguments online. Race and nationality are not the same thing. If someone says I'm a Jamaican, they are telling you where they are from or what national identity they belong to. If someone says I'm black, they are describing racial or ethnic identity. Those two things can overlap, but they are not intangible. A black Jamaican is a Jamaican. A white Jamaican can be Jamaican. A Chinese Jamaican can be Jamaican. An Indian Jamaican can be a Jamaican. A Jamaican of Middle Eastern ancestry can be a Jamaican. And somebody can also be a Jamaican while having mixed ancestry. That's not complicated. Yet social media has somehow turned this into maybe a huge controversy. And I think part of the problems come from people outside Jamaica seeing Jamaican through a very narrow image. When many people around the world hear the word Jamaica, they immediately picture black Jamaicans. They picture reggae, they picture dancehall, they picture Usain Bolt, they picture Bob Marley, they picture Rastafari. The picture of black Caribbean population. And there's nothing wrong with this recognizing those things because African heritage is absolutely central to Jamaican history and culture. But the mistake is taking most Jamaicans are black and turning it into all Jamaicans are black. Those are completely different statements. And this distinction becomes particularly important when white Jamaicans speak about the experience. Imagine being born in Jamaica and spending your entire childhood there. You know the school, you know the slang, you know the food, you know the jokes, you understand the cultural reference, you support Jamaican athletics, you celebrate Jamaican tradition, you speak like a Jamaican, then you travel abroad and somebody looks at you and say, you can't be Jamaican, you are white. That person isn't actually questioning your race, they are questioning your nationality. And that's where the argument becomes unfair because skin color cannot tell you someone's birthplace. A person's appearance cannot tell you the passport, and someone's racial background cannot automatically tell you which culture they grew up in. Now, let's be so fair to the people who become suspicious when they see someone claiming Jamaican identity. There are plenty of people around the world who have Jamaican ancestry, Jamaican friends, Jamaican culture influence, or simply they love Jamaican music. But that doesn't automatically make someone Jamaican. There's a difference between loving Jamaican culture and being Jamaican. That's an important distinction too. You don't become Jamaican simply because you eat jack chicken, listen to dancehall, or wear Jamaican color. But if someone actually has Jamaican nationality, Jamaican family heritage, or was raised with Jamaican culture, their identity should be erased simply because their skin doesn't match the image someone has in their head. And Jamaica Horn is to make the situation even more interesting. Jamaica was not created by one ethnic group living in isolation. The island has a complicated history involving indigenous people, European colonization, African brought through the transatlantic slave trade, endangered laborer from Indian, Chinese migration, and other communities. That history created population with considerable diversity, and that diversity is reflected in Jamaican's famous national motto, out of many, one people. Think about the meaning behind that. It doesn't say out of one race, one people. It says out of many. Different background contributing to one national identity. And that's one reason the example in this clip you provide are so powerful. They mention white Jamaicans who have deeply family connection to the island, Chinese Jamaicans, Indian Jamaicans, and Jamaicans with Middle Eastern ancestry. The point isn't Jamaica suddenly isn't predominantly black country. Of course it is. The point is that blackness isn't a prerequisite for Jamaican nationality. And there's another important issue here, the difference between Jamaica and the United States. Race has historically been classified differently in different societies. The United States developed very powerful racial categories, particularly around the history of slavery, segregation, and the one-drop rule. Jamaica has its own complicated racial history, including colonial Iraqis and colorism. So it will be accurate to pretend Jamaica has never cared about race. It has. Jamaica has had a racial and class division. It has had colorism. It has had colonial social hierarchies. So we shouldn't romanticize the island and pretend everybody has always lived in a perfect racial history. That's not true. But Jamaican identity can still function differently from racial category people are accustomed to seeing in America. That's the reason why we're all seeing a lot of white Jamaicans. They're really so much furious. They're really angry whenever people come out and tell them that you are not Jamaican, despite for them being born in Jamaica, knowing Jamaican history and culture, speaking Patois language, eating Jamaican food, and practicing Jamaican culture. They're so much furious whenever they're being called you are not Jamaicans, but you are white. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Please subscribe if you haven't. Like, share. Let me see you in the next clip. Be blessed whenever you are.